Ladies and gentlemen, emotional distance in relationships can be confusing and painful, especially when someone you care about suddenly withdraws. You may wonder what went wrong, whether you did something to push them away or if they simply lost interest. The truth is, people pull away for many reasons, and it's not always about you. Sometimes it has more to do with their own emotional struggles, fears, and past experiences than anything you've done. One of the most common reasons people create emotional distance is fear of intimacy. Deep emotional connection requires vulnerability, and not everyone is comfortable with that level of openness. When a person starts to feel too close, they may instinctively pull back as a defense mechanism. This could be due to past trauma, childhood experiences, or even a fear of losing their independence. For some, emotional closeness triggers anxiety because they associate it with the possibility of getting hurt. Instead of expressing this fear directly, they withdraw, leaving the other person confused and hurt. Another reason someone might pull away is their own internal struggles. Life is complex, and people deal with stress, insecurities, and personal battles that they don't always know how to share. They may retreat into themselves to process their emotions or because they feel overwhelmed. Unfortunately, instead of communicating what they're going through, they create distance. The person on the receiving end might take it personally, believing they did something wrong, when in reality, it's about the other person's emotional state. Sometimes, emotional distance is a form of control. Some people subconsciously or even consciously withdraw to see how much the other person will chase them. This dynamic creates a power imbalance in the relationship, where one person is constantly proving their love and the other is sitting back, deciding whether or not to give attention. This kind of emotional push and pull can become toxic because it keeps the relationship in a cycle of uncertainty. The one who pulls away holds the power, while the other feels they must constantly work to keep them close. When someone gets angry because you didn't chase them, it reveals a deeper issue within them. They may be used to relationships where they are pursued, which validates their self-worth. Your refusal to chase challenges their ego and disrupts the control they thought they had. Their anger is not about you, it's about their expectations and insecurities. A healthy person who values mutual effort in a relationship would not expect you to run after them every time they pull away. Instead of seeing emotional distance as a test you need to pass, view it as an opportunity to observe a person's behavior and decide if they are capable of building a healthy connection. When someone truly cares about you and respects the relationship, they will communicate rather than withdraw without explanation. They won't expect you to prove your worth by chasing them, they will meet you halfway. Understanding emotional distance also requires understanding your own patterns. Do you find yourself constantly chasing people who pull away? If so, it might be time to reflect on why. Sometimes people who crave love the most end up attracted to those who are emotionally unavailable because they subconsciously seek validation. But a relationship where one person is always proving their worth is not a healthy relationship. The best response when someone pulls away is not to chase, but to give them space while maintaining your self-respect. If they truly care, they will come back and communicate. If they don't, then their withdrawal was never about you, it was about them. Either way, you win because you are choosing to prioritize your own emotional well-being. Love should not be a game of push and pull. It should be mutual, secure, and built on open communication. If someone constantly withdraws and expects you to chase, it may be time to ask yourself, is this the kind of relationship I truly want? The right person won't make you question your worth, they will make you feel safe, valued, and wanted. Self-respect is one of the most powerful qualities a person can have, yet it is often tested in relationships, especially when dealing with someone who pulls away and expects to be chased. When you respect yourself, you set boundaries, uphold your dignity, and refuse to engage in unhealthy relationship dynamics. You understand that love should never come at the cost of your self-worth. Many people believe that chasing someone who pulls away proves their love and commitment. They think that if they just try harder, show more affection, or become more available, the other person will finally appreciate them. However, this mindset often leads to exhaustion and disappointment. Love is not something that should be earned through relentless pursuit. A person who truly cares will not make you feel like you have to fight for their attention. Self-respect means knowing when to step back and allow others to make their own decisions. If someone is pulling away, it is not your job to convince them to stay. It is not your responsibility to prove your worth to someone who is unsure about their feelings. When you chase after someone who is withdrawing, you send a message that your self-worth depends on their validation. This can create an unhealthy cycle where they feel they can distance themselves whenever they want, knowing that you will always come running back. A person who pulls away and then gets angry because you didn't chase them is revealing their own insecurities. They may be used to relationships where they hold power by creating distance and forcing others to pursue them. When you refuse to play that game, it disrupts their expectations and makes them uncomfortable. Instead of recognizing their own issues, they project their frustration onto you. But their reaction is not your burden to carry. You do not have to bend yourself to meet the emotional needs of someone who refuses to communicate openly. Choosing self-respect means prioritizing your own emotional well-being over someone else's approval. It means recognizing that a person who values and cares for you will not put you in a position where you feel you have to chase them. They will meet you with the same level of effort and commitment that you bring to the relationship. Mutual love and respect should be the foundation of any relationship, not manipulation, power struggles, or emotional games. One of the most liberating realizations is that you do not need to beg for love. You do not need to run after someone to prove you are worthy of their time and affection. Real love is given freely without conditions. When you respect yourself, you attract people who respect you in return. You set a standard that says, I deserve a relationship where I am valued, not one where I have to prove my worth. Walking away from someone who expects you to chase them is not an act of giving up, it is an act of self-empowerment. It is a statement that says, I will not participate in a relationship where my value is questioned. By standing firm in your self-respect, you give yourself the opportunity to attract healthier relationships with people who appreciate and reciprocate your love. It is important to remember that the way people treat you is a reflection of their own emotional state, not your value as a person. If someone pulls away and expects you to chase them, it is likely because they have their own fears, insecurities, or past wounds that they have not addressed. But their unresolved issues should not become your responsibility. Your only responsibility is to yourself to maintain your self-worth, to uphold your boundaries, and to engage in relationships that bring you peace and fulfillment. The most powerful decision you can make is to choose yourself. To walk away from situations that diminish your sense of worth. To stop chasing people who do not appreciate your presence. To stand confidently in the knowledge that you are enough, just as you are. True love will never require you to abandon your self-respect, it will honor it. In relationships, there is a significant difference between manipulation and genuine connection. Understanding this distinction is crucial because manipulation often disguises itself as love, leaving people confused, emotionally drained, and questioning their own worth. On the other hand, a genuine connection is built on honesty, mutual effort, and emotional security. When someone pulls away and expects you to chase them, it is important to recognize whether they are acting out of personal struggles or engaging in manipulative behavior. Manipulation in relationships is often subtle. It can take the form of emotional withdrawal, silent treatment, or creating distance as a way to gain control. Some people pull away not because they need space to process their feelings, but because they want to see if you will come running after them. This is a power play, one designed to put them in a position of control while making you feel anxious, insecure, and desperate for their attention. The problem with this dynamic is that it keeps you trapped in a cycle of seeking validation. When someone withdraws without explanation, it triggers a fear of abandonment. You might start overanalyzing your actions, wondering what you did wrong and trying harder to please them. This is exactly what manipulators want. They thrive on your uncertainty because it makes them feel powerful. If they can get you to chase them, they reinforce their belief that they are in control of the relationship. In contrast, a genuine connection does not rely on mind games. In a healthy relationship, both individuals feel safe expressing their emotions and needs. If one person needs space, they communicate it with honesty and reassurance rather than using withdrawal as a test. When someone truly values you, they do not make you guess where you stand with them. They do not leave you feeling confused, anxious, or unworthy. One of the biggest red flags of manipulation is when a person gets angry because you did not chase them. This reaction reveals a deeper issue. They were never truly looking for connection in the first place. Instead, they were looking for control. When you refuse to engage in their game, they feel exposed, as if their manipulation tactic has failed. Their anger is not about missing you, it is about losing the upper hand. On the other hand, someone who genuinely cares about you will not get upset if you respect their space. They will appreciate that you are confident enough in yourself and the relationship to allow things to flow naturally. A real connection is based on mutual trust, not on one person constantly proving their devotion while the other creates distance to test it. Recognizing manipulation requires self-awareness and a willingness to set boundaries. If someone repeatedly pulls away and expects you to chase them, it is important to ask yourself, is this relationship making me feel valued and secure, or is it making me feel anxious and unworthy? The answer to this question can reveal whether you are dealing with a genuine connection or a manipulative dynamic. The healthiest response to manipulation is to disengage. Do not reward emotional games with attention. Instead, maintain your self-respect and refuse to participate in the cycle. If a person truly cares about you, they will come back with sincerity and effort, not anger or blame. If they do not, then their absence is a gift, because it saves you from investing in a relationship that was never truly built on love and respect. Love should not be a game of control and insecurity. It should be a place of mutual effort, honesty, and emotional safety. When you recognize the difference between manipulation and genuine connection, you empower yourself to choose relationships that nurture and uplift you rather than ones that leave you feeling exhausted and unworthy. When someone pulls away and then gets angry because you didn't chase them, it's important to understand one fundamental truth: their emotions are not your responsibility. Their anger is not a reflection of your worth, nor is it something you need to fix. Instead, it is a sign of their own unresolved issues, insecurities, and expectations that have nothing to do with you. Learning to separate yourself from another person's emotional reactions is a crucial step in maintaining your self-respect and inner peace. People get angry for many reasons, but in this specific situation, their frustration often stems from an expectation that you will validate them by chasing after them. Some individuals are used to relationships where they hold the power, where they can withdraw, create emotional distance, and then be reassured by their partner's desperate attempts to pull them back. When you refuse to participate in this dynamic, it disrupts their sense of control. They may not even be fully aware of their own behavior, but at the core, their anger is about their own emotional discomfort, not your actions. One of the most damaging beliefs people carry in relationships is the idea that they are responsible for managing their partner's emotions. If someone is upset, it's easy to feel guilty and question whether you should have done something differently. But in reality, mature and healthy individuals take responsibility for their own feelings. If someone chooses to withdraw and then reacts with anger when you don't chase them, it is their emotional work to do, not yours. Think about it this way: if someone values your presence in their life, they will communicate with you, not punish you with silence or distance. Healthy relationships are built on mutual understanding and direct communication, not emotional games that leave one person feeling confused and unworthy. When a person pulls away and then expects you to chase them, they are using distance as a form of control. If they become angry when you don't comply, it means they were never looking for a solution or compromise, they were looking for power. It is also important to recognize that this type of anger often comes from deeper unresolved wounds. Many people carry emotional baggage from past relationships, childhood experiences, or personal insecurities that influence how they behave in romantic connections. If they have learned that withdrawing and being chased gives them a sense of importance or security, they may repeat this pattern without even realizing it. But their emotional habits are not your responsibility to fix. You cannot heal someone who refuses to recognize their own behavior. When faced with this kind of anger, the best response is to hold your boundaries and not engage in the emotional manipulation. It can be tempting to explain yourself, to try to make them understand why you didn't chase them, or to reassure them that you care. But the truth is, a person who truly values you will not need to be chased in the first place. They will meet you with respect, clarity, and emotional maturity rather than expecting you to prove your worth through pursuit. The more you prioritize your own emotional well-being, the more you will recognize the difference between healthy and unhealthy relationship patterns. Someone who respects and cares for you will never put you in a position where you feel you have to earn their love. Love that is genuine does not require you to chase, and it certainly does not punish you for choosing to respect yourself. Their anger is not your burden to carry. You do not have to take responsibility for their emotional reactions, nor do you have to apologize for maintaining your self-respect. The right person will appreciate your strength, not resent you for it. By refusing to engage in manipulative dynamics, you open the door for real, healthy love, one that is built on mutual effort, not emotional games. In relationships, we often find ourselves at a crossroads. Do we choose peace or do we engage in chaos? When someone pulls away and expects you to chase them, they are introducing an element of emotional instability into your life. If you engage in this dynamic, you are constantly left wondering where you stand, trying to decode mixed signals and feeling like you have to prove your worth. But the truth is, love should not be a battlefield, and real connection does not require you to sacrifice your inner peace. Choosing peace over chaos means prioritizing your emotional well-being. It means recognizing that relationships should feel safe, supportive, and fulfilling, not like a constant struggle. When someone creates distance and then reacts negatively when you do not chase them, they are showing you that they thrive on drama, power struggles, and insecurity. This kind of behavior is unhealthy because it creates a cycle of push and pull, where one person is always anxious and the other is always in control. Over time, this erodes your self-worth and conditions you to accept unstable love as normal. Many people stay in chaotic relationships because they confuse intensity with love, the highs and lows, the constant emotional roller coaster, and the thrill of winning. Someone back can feel like passion, but in reality, it is just toxicity disguised as romance. True love does not leave you in a state of emotional exhaustion. It does not require you to fight for someone's attention or prove that you are worthy of being chosen. When you choose peace, you reject relationships that keep you in a cycle of stress, doubt, and insecurity. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to walk away from chaotic dynamics is the fear of loss and loneliness. They worry that if they stop chasing, the other person will leave for good. But here's the truth. If someone walks away when you refuse to engage in emotional games, they were never truly invested in the relationship to begin with. A person who genuinely cares for you will not make you feel like you have to fight for their presence. They will want to stay. And they will communicate openly rather than creating confusion and resentment. Choosing peace also means recognizing your own patterns. If you find yourself repeatedly drawn to relationships where you feel you have to earn love, ask yourself why. Sometimes our past experiences shape our understanding of relationships, and we become accustomed to chaotic love because it is all we have known. But you do not have to continue living in that cycle. You have the power to break free and create a new standard for what love should look like in your life. A peaceful relationship does not mean a relationship without challenges. Every relationship requires effort, communication, and compromise. But there is a difference between healthy effort and constant emotional turmoil. A peaceful relationship is one where both people feel secure, valued, and emotionally safe. There is no need for manipulation, withdrawal, or chasing, because love is given freely and consistently. Walking away from chaotic relationships is not easy, especially when emotions are involved. But every time you choose peace, you are choosing yourself. You are sending a message to the universe that you will no longer tolerate relationships that drain you. You are creating space for the right kind of love, the kind that uplifts you, supports you, and brings you joy instead of anxiety. Love should not feel like a constant battle. You deserve a relationship where you are cherished, where communication is clear, and where you feel at home, not one where you are constantly chasing, guessing, and proving your worth. Peace is a choice, and it is always worth choosing. Walking away from someone who expects you to chase them is not an act of defeat. It is an act of strength, self-respect, and emotional maturity. When you refuse to engage in a toxic push and pull dynamic, you reclaim your power and send a clear message. I know my worth and I will not settle for less. It takes courage to walk away, especially when emotions are involved. You may feel tempted to stay, to try harder, to prove that you are worth their love and attention. But love should not be a test you have to pass. A person who truly cares about you will not expect you to chase them, nor will they punish you with emotional withdrawal. Love should be mutual, not one-sided. Confidence in walking away comes from understanding that you are not responsible for another person's emotional games. When someone pulls away and then gets angry because you didn't chase them, they are revealing their own insecurities, not your shortcomings. They expected validation through your pursuit, and when they didn't receive it, they reacted with frustration. But their anger is not your burden to carry. The key to walking away with confidence is shifting your mindset from fear of loss to embracing self-respect. Instead of thinking, what if I lose them? Ask yourself, what if I find someone who truly values me? Instead of worrying about their reaction, focus on how much peace you gain by stepping away from a situation that does not serve you. Confidence also comes from recognizing your own pattern. If you often find yourself in relationships where you are the one constantly proving your worth, it may be time to reflect on why. Do you equate love with effort? Do you feel like you must earn affection? Healthy love does not require you to beg for attention or prove your value. When you recognize your worth, you naturally attract relationships that reflect that same level of self-respect. One of the biggest challenges in walking away is the fear of being alone. Many people stay in unhealthy dynamics because they believe that leaving means starting over, facing loneliness, or not finding someone better. But being alone is far better than being in a relationship that makes you feel unloved, uncertain, and emotionally exhausted. Walking away does not mean you are giving up on love. It means you are making space for the right kind of love. Another powerful mindset shift is understanding that rejection or distance from someone is often redirection to something better. If a person pulls away and cannot appreciate your presence, they are doing you a favor by showing you who they truly are. When you walk away with confidence, you are not just leaving behind a toxic cycle. You are stepping toward a future where you are valued, respected, and genuinely loved. True confidence is not about acting like you don't care. It's about genuinely knowing that your happiness does not depend on someone else's approval. You are whole on your own. You are worthy of a love that does not require you to chase, convince, or prove anything. At the end of the day, the right person will never put you in a position where you feel you have to fight for their attention. They will meet you halfway, communicate with honesty, and appreciate you without condition. Walking away from those who do not is not a loss. It is a victory for your self-worth. So hold your head high, walk away with confidence, not because you don't care, but because you care too much about yourself to stay in a situation that makes you question your value. The right love will never require you to abandon your self-respect. It will honor it.